Welcome back to SMK Entertainment. Today, we delve into a chilling true story that will leave you questioning the boundaries between reality and the supernatural. Get ready for a spine-tingling journey into the unknown. The Great Amherst Mystery is one of the most perplexing and terrifying hauntings in history. It centers around a young woman named Esther Cox, whose life was turned upside down by inexplicable and terrifying events. In the late 19th century, Esther's home in Amherst, Nova Scotia, became the epicenter of strange occurrences that baffled everyone who witnessed them. From mysterious fires to unexplainable noises, the events that unfolded were nothing short of extraordinary. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore the eerie details of Esther's haunting and the impact it had on her life and those around her. So sit back, turn off the lights, and prepare yourself for a journey into the heart of one of the most enigmatic hauntings ever recorded. This is the story of Esther Cox and the Great Amherst Mystery. In the quiet town of Amherst, Nova Scotia, during the late 1800s, a seemingly ordinary house became the epicenter of one of the most documented cases of poltergeist activity in history. This is the story of Esther Cox and the Great Amherst Mystery. Strange occurrences began to unfold, with objects moving on their own, and whispers echoing through the halls. The town was gripped by fear as they tried to make sense of the unexplainable. And at the center of it all was Esther Cox, whose life would never be the same again. Esther Cox, a young woman in her late teens, lived with her sister Olive and her family in a modest home. The family led a simple life, filled with the usual joys and struggles of the 19th century. Esther was known for her kind heart and gentle nature. Everything changed one fateful night in 1878 when Esther experienced a terrifying encounter. The night was dark and silent, with only the sound of the wind rustling through the trees. Esther had just settled into bed, unaware of the horrors that awaited her. She awoke to find herself paralyzed, her bed shaking violently as unseen forces held her captive. The room was filled with an eerie presence, and Esther could feel the cold grip of fear tightening around her heart. She tried to scream, but no sound escaped her lips. This was just the beginning. Over the following weeks, Esther and her family would experience a series of inexplicable and terrifying events. Objects moved on their own, strange noises echoed through the house, and Esther's health began to deteriorate. The once peaceful home had become a place of fear and uncertainty. In the weeks that followed, strange and unexplainable events began to occur. Objects would move on their own, loud bangs echoed through the house, and Esther herself would fall into violent fits. The family was at a loss, seeking help from doctors and clergy, but to no avail. The disturbances only grew more intense. Shadows seemed to move on their own, and eerie figures were sometimes seen lurking in the background. The family, gripped by fear, huddled together, unsure of what to do next. Mysterious writings began to appear on the walls, cryptic messages that no one could decipher. Candles would flicker and go out suddenly, plunging rooms into darkness. Desperate for relief, the family turned to prayer, hoping for an end to their torment. Paranormal investigators were called in, setting up equipment to capture the phenomena. They documented strange occurrences, but the mystery only deepened. Esther, looking haunted, stared into the distance, as if seeing things no one else could. Sound effect, loud bangs. Witnesses, including neighbors and local authorities, reported seeing furniture levitate, hearing disembodied voices, and experiencing other inexplicable phenomena. The events were so frequent and intense that they couldn't be ignored. People claimed to see writing appear on the walls, seemingly out of nowhere, as if an invisible hand was at work. Esther's life became a living nightmare, filled with constant fear and anxiety. The mysterious writings were often cryptic and unsettling, adding to the terror that gripped the household. The once peaceful home turned into a place of fear and dread. Eerie music intensifies. As news of the haunting spread, the story captured the imagination of the public. Newspapers began to report on the strange occurrences, and the house quickly became infamous. The house became a local sensation. People from all over came to witness the bizarre occurrences for themselves. Some were curious, others were terrified, but all were captivated by the mystery. The crowd outside the house grew larger each day, with people hoping to catch a glimpse of the paranormal activity. In a desperate attempt to find peace, Esther left Amherst to stay with relatives in another town. Remarkably, the disturbances followed her, proving that whatever plagued her was not tied to the house, but to Esther herself. As she journeyed through the countryside, strange occurrences continued to haunt her. Unseen forces would tug at her clothes, and whispers echoed in the night, sending chills down her spine. Even in the safety of her relative's home, objects moved on their own, and disembodied voices called her name. The relentless haunting showed no signs of stopping. Esther's nights were filled with terror as she lay awake, listening to the eerie sounds that surrounded her. The haunting was relentless, a constant reminder that she could not escape her torment. The once vibrant and lively Esther was now a shadow of her former self, consumed by the fear and anxiety that the haunting brought upon her. The haunting was not just a series of random events, it was a malevolent force that seemed to have a personal vendetta against Esther, following her wherever she went. Desperate for relief, Esther turned to prayer, hoping for divine intervention to end her suffering, but the haunting persisted, leaving her in a state of perpetual dread. Her relatives, though supportive, were also deeply troubled by the inexplicable events. They watched helplessly as Esther's condition deteriorated, unable to provide the solace she so desperately needed. Alone and tormented, Esther's hope began to wane. The haunting had become an inescapable part of her life, a dark shadow that loomed over her every moment. Sound effect: creepy whispers. Despite numerous investigations, the cause of the poltergeist activity was never definitively determined. Investigators from various fields, including paranormal experts, historians, and even skeptics, pored over the evidence, yet no consensus was reached. Some suggested that Esther's emotional turmoil and traumatic past could have manifested into the supernatural events. Her life was marked by significant hardship and emotional distress, which some believed could have triggered the strange occurrences. Others believed it was the work of malevolent spirits. These spirits, they argued, were drawn to Esther's vulnerability and used it as a conduit to manifest their presence in the physical world. Esther Cox eventually returned to Amherst, the small town that had been the epicenter of these bizarre events. Her return was met with a mix of curiosity and apprehension from the townsfolk, where the activity gradually subsided. The once chaotic and haunted house returned to its former state of tranquility, leaving behind only whispers of its haunted past. She lived the rest of her life in relative obscurity, away from the public eye. The notoriety that once surrounded her faded, and she found solace in a quieter existence, forever haunted by the memories of those terrifying years. The events left an indelible mark on her psyche, a constant reminder of the inexplicable and eerie chapter of her life. Softer, somber music. The Great Amherst Mystery remains one of the most compelling cases of paranormal activity. It serves as a chilling reminder of how fragile the veil between our world and the unknown can be. Esther Cox's story has fascinated and perplexed both skeptics and believers for over a century. Her experiences in that small town in Nova Scotia have left an indelible mark on the history of paranormal investigations. Whether one views it as a genuine haunting or a case of psychological distress, the events that unfolded in Amherst continue to spark debate and curiosity. The mystery endures, inviting us to ponder the boundaries of our understanding, and the mysteries that lie just beyond our grasp. As we reflect on Esther Cox's haunting tale, we are reminded of the countless stories that remain untold, hidden in the shadows of history, waiting to be discovered. The Great Amherst Mystery is not just a story of fear and the supernatural, it is a testament to the enduring human fascination with the unknown. And so, the tale of Esther Cox and the Great Amherst Mystery lives on, a haunting echo through the corridors of time. Thank you for joining us on this eerie journey into the supernatural. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more spine-chilling tales. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe. Outro music. This is SMK Entertainment, signing off.